Hey guys, before we hop into your video, I wanted to tell you guys about my new partnership with BetterHelp. If you haven't heard of it, it's an online resource in which you can find your very own friendly local neighborhood therapist, no matter where you are in the world. You sign up, and within 24 hours, they match you with a licensed therapist that's right for you. And you can talk to your counselor every week via phone or video chat, and you also have the opportunity to text them in between sessions. As most of you guys know, I am also a licensed professional as well as a mental health advocate. And sometimes in these readings, very in depth topics come up that are very intricately related to mental health. And it's for that reason that I offer this resource to you guys. And if you know anyone that can benefit from them, or if you yourself can benefit from them, I suggest you take advantage of them. The information to sign up will be in the description box below. But let's go ahead and get into your reading.
Hello, Aries. Happy birthday. Welcome to your March as above reading. Okay, that's too many cards. I'm Princess India. If you're new with your family, welcome back, my friend. So we're going to go ahead and jump into, okay, you guys, cards. First card out we have with your past influence, okay, is the courting card in reverse. And that's the lovers in the reverse. And then we have the grandchildren in the reverse. Oh, what is this? Oh, that's the tower. Always nice. In the reverse, then we have John Horse in the reverse. This deck is so fascinating. And then let me get one more card for you guys. That is so fascinating. Oh, that's the same card that Pisces had right there. We have the big queen in the reverse. Whew, all right, so there is quite a lot going on here. That's the emperor in reverse here, but I'm gonna go ahead and get the rest of you guys cards before geez, what is going on, Aries? Before I start talking. All right, hold on. Just all right. All right. We're Gucci. Hold on. We just got two more cards, Aries. Just give me a second, my love. Fascinating. Okay. Okay. Aries, I don't know what's going on in your life. I don't know what is going on in your life. But these cards, y'all got a lot of the same cards as Pisces. Well, not a lot, just two of them. But there's a lot going on here. So first, with you guys' past influence, we have the lovers in the reverse. Okay, y'all really do have a lot of cards like Pisces. And whew, the Nine of Swords. This is kind of going straight to the point for me, for you guys, past influence wise at least. This very much feels like a breakdown in a relationship for me, for you guys past tense. In my reminder cards I have up here, I said this to Pisces and I'm saying it to everyone. On the 9th of March, we have the full moon in Virgo and Mercury goes direct. And what's of utmost importance is, especially now, looking back to the new moon in Pisces, which was on the 23rd of February, and taking into account the emotions that came up then, what you guys have been pondering on since then, as well as where you were this time last year, because that may be of utmost importance to you. So more or less like this retrograde, as well as that new moon energy, because I have these moonology cards here, you know. So it's more or less speaking of whatever you've been marinating on, whatever you've been pondering about and making plans about, or what your head is, wherever your head has been, and where you guys are deciding to go forward in March. And the Virgo new moon's theme is you are good enough. So it's more or less whatever it is that has transpired from then until now, or what comes up in this reading. Those are things that you want to keep in mind to add to you moving forward, in so many words. So anywho, what I'm seeing for you guys past tense with the Nine of Swords and The Lovers in reverse, very specifically to me, this feels like a breakup in a relationship. So it's like a breakdown in a partnership, or if we were to really take, because that, if I'm just gonna say it like this, it feels heavily like a love relationship to me, but you know, that's not the case with every single Aries in the world. So the other way that I would say that is it's more or less a decision or a choice that had to be made. And I feel like you just didn't make the choice. It's kind of like opting out, or the choice that you made, you feel like it wasn't necessarily the right one. Um, and it could be, in a sense, like I would say on a deeper level, it's like being in a partnership, not necessarily romantic, that you know that's not really in your highest good. It's more or less sticking with it because either it's the right thing to do or it's the wise thing to do, so to speak. And it feels more or less as if it's tearing you up on the inside. Like it's driving you mad. It's literally driving you mad, in so many words. Because I feel in some sense or another, it's either a full breakdown, like there was a breakup or an ending of a partnership, or knowing that this needs to be done. And oh Jesus, then we have the 10. Oh God, the 10 of Swords. Man, that card is just graphic. I'm show it to you. You know, the dude is crawling out of the church with all of these knives in his back. That's heavy. Yeah, this suddenly, this just got deep. So here's the thing I'm feeling, and this may not be for everybody. But this feels more or less like a very okay. It's my phone, y'all, my bad. But this feels very much to me like a betrayal. And I rarely, if ever, say that with the 10 of Swords, but in this particular deck, man, this feels like a betrayal to me with someone or people, period, that you trust. So it's more or less being in a situation or a circumstance where you felt safe or vulnerable, or it's a safe space. Because I'm looking at this with this being a church, it's like if you think about, because like the level of vulnerability I'm talking about is if you think about literally like being in a church. Like if you think about the type of vibes you would assume that you would get at a church, like this is somewhere where, you know, you're safe and you can be fully yourself without judgment, things of the sort. So this feels very much to me, it's either a romantic relationship or it's like a family unit or something of that sort. But it's almost like the breakdown in this, or the betrayal that happened in this partnership or this relationship, it's like devastating. It's literally devastating, to where it's something that would make a person lose hope on some stuff, you know? Like this doesn't feel like something patty cake. Like this feels like something really, really serious. And that's where I say, like, along the lines of like, if it's like a family, I can't think of anything off the top of my head that a family could do, because, and that's me just reaching, because this really feels like a romantic relationship to me. You know? It doesn't really feel like it doesn't feel like a family thing, even though it could be. But this really feels heavily romantic to me. But it's more or less like in the recent past, like last month, it's like finding out about this, or this transpiring leading into March. And it's like in March, the overall theme is like dealing with it. It's like dealing with a feeling of betrayal or being backstabbed, of being misled, being lied to, and coping with the feelings of losing hope or losing optimism in the situation. And when we're talking about our roadblock here, we have the Emperor in the reverse, or John Horse, and the Nine of Pentacles. So what this is looking like to me, this is, dude, I can't even front, Aries. I'm trying to see this another way than this being romantic, but this is like screaming out to me like a romantic relationship. I'm not even gonna lie. And it would be a partnership with someone who is very manipulative, controlling, someone who's very egoic. Or, I mean, worst case scenario, it would be flip side. Like this would be something that Aries did to someone. But just, I mean, if you're cross watching, go with it. But I'm just gonna stick with this happening to Aries just so we don't get confused up in this piece. My eyelashes are doing their own thing. But with the roadblock, it's like this is a person who's very much concerned with keeping up appearances, but I feel that this is something that Aries is more or less partaking in. Wow, this really could be Aries because this is the Emperor. So, and then we got Gemini energy there and Aquarius energy here. And then that's Libra or Taurus, but that's neither here nor there. But with the roadblock here, the issue is like, it's almost like being between a rock and a hard place. Like if Aries is in a partnership with someone like this, it's someone who you're not happy with. The person is, manipulative, controlling, egoic. They only care about themselves. They only care about, appearances and keeping up appearances and things of the sort. But it's more or less what is hurting Aries in the process is that all of this is going on underneath all of this, and it's still keeping up appearances. So it's, and this would be hypothetically if you're in a partnership with someone and the person cheated and it's killing you on the inside. But God forbid you let anyone know that your partner, like, I don't know, had a baby with someone else or is cheating on you or whatever the case may be, stole money from you, whatever the case is, whatever the betrayal is. And it's like just, fronting because you want people to think something about you that's not true. It's like, I don't know, dog. It's strange because if I were to really collapse this into, if I were to collapse this Emperor and reverse energy into Aries and still completely X out another person, it's like, it's almost like torturing oneself, like holding yourself hostage. Yeah, that's another way I could see that. It would be holding yourself hostage, and this would be like you stabbing yourself in the back. So it's like the whole reason why one's future looks bleak, or why one has lost hope, or one doesn't feel fruitful, one doesn't feel abundant, is because with this Two of Coins in the reverse over here, and then looking at this Lovers in reverse over here, it's more or less, it's a refusal to like accept defeat almost. So it's like holding oneself captive because you need to maintain an appearance. It's like you need people to think whatever it is you need them to think about you, or you feel that people need to perceive you or your situation in whatever kind of way that you want them to perceive it for whatever reason. And you're willing to more or less suffer in silence, or hold your feet to the fire for the sole purpose of maintaining this appearance. You know what I mean? It's like you have your shit together. And it's not saying that you don't have your shit together. It's just like there's literally something underneath the veneer that's happening here that one does not want people to know about. And it's more or less you would rather suffer in silence than have people know that whatever it is that you're projecting out to the world isn't so, And it's more or less refusing to do anything about that is why one is feeling like it's like overkill, dude, in every sense of the word. And this, it kind of reminds me of like the vibe I was getting with Pisces, which is totally tripping me out, dude. Because I expected these March readings to be like really, really, positive, and, that's more or less what I expected going in. But it's like, it's still this residual energy. It's like, pessimism and being soul tired and things of the sort. But it still kind of goes back to like what I was telling Pisces, is this is an internal battle. It's more or less like you're holding yourself to a standard you don't have to hold yourself to, because it's a false misconception that you have to maintain whatever the whole bravado thing is, like whatever this image is or whatever. It's like that's not something that you have to do. It's like that's a standard that you're holding yourself to, but no one's making you do that but you. And the whole reason why there's stagnation and there's frustration and anxiety and worry, insomnia, can't sleep at night, whatever the case may be, is because one is faking the funk. Like it's putting up a whole facade. And it's more or less a need to see that it's the lack thereof, because this is in your potential energy. It's like you're literally going from, okay, you're literally going from the Lovers in the reverse to your possibilities being the Empress in the reverse and the Two of Coins in reverse. So it's flippy floppy kind of energy. It's you still refusing to make a decision that's in alignment with your highest good. It's more or less like it's, and I hate to sound so extra, but it's literally like selling your soul in a proverbial sense, because it's like it's being more concerned with what other people think or how other people perceive you or how things would look in an external sense, right? It's that having more value to you than your own peace, you know? So, and that's where I say if I collapse it into Aries and completely exclude another person, looking at the Emperor in the reverse, it would more or less be that Aries roadblock in the month of March is literally themselves. It's the need to project this Nine of Pentacles energy, and the why behind why you need to project this Nine of Pentacles energy is because of the ego. So it's like you don't want people to see you in whatever state it is that you're actually in. So you're just going to pretend like everything's okay and project that. But it's like underneath it all, it's like you're sacrificing your peace, and betraying yourself, you know, because as opposed to, revealing whatever it is, or being honest about whatever it is that's going on underneath, it's kind of holding yourself in this limbo of pain, anxiety, turmoil, misery, and woe, in so many words. But the energy that's like really standing out to me the most is this being a partnership breakdown. But if it's not a partnership breakdown, this is literally like, if you look at the Lovers, like the whole head or heart decision thing, this would be Aries literally making a head decision. And ever since you've made this decision that went against what you felt innately was right, and you did what was logical, practical, or expected of you, it's like you've been suffering ever since trying to maintain this, because it's something with admitting that you made the wrong step, or that you took the wrong route, or took the wrong job, or you move too quickly, or whatever the case may be. It's all an ego thing. It's like a pride thing. It's like you don't want to admit that you were wrong, so you're putting yourself in a position to suffer because you don't want to admit that you were wrong. And I'm not saying that you were literally wrong. It's like, I'm just saying like made the wrong choice. You know what I mean? Not wanting to admit that you made the wrong choice. So it's almost kind of like if a person had a mentality like, I made my bed hard, so now I have to lay in it. It's like that would be the closest thing to it of what it is that I'm seeing. But what I'm seeing in the process with your possibilities being unfruitful energy is more or less showing you that this route that you're taking is not necessarily in your highest good, because all it's doing is further stagnating you. It's putting you in unrest, and it's further going into the future, putting you into an energy of non-movement, non-abundance, non-fruitfulness. It's just stagnation. So it's more or less with Aries in the month of March, it's really you asking yourself if it's really worth it. Like, what's more important to you? It's like, you know, what people think about you, how other people see you, or your own level of peace. Because that's really what it is that we're choosing with. So for those of you where this doesn't have anything to do with another person, this is literally like stabbing your own self in the back. And it's interesting now that I'm thinking about this, because as I'm telling all of this, I was like, God, this sounds like the whole storyline of Virgos in 2019. And then I'm looking up at this full moon in Virgo. So it doesn't even necessarily have to be that y'all have Virgo in your chart or even dealing with Virgo people, but this has literally been like every single Virgo reading I did in 2019 was this. It was Virgos like keeping up with the Joneses and projecting this external image like out into the world of needing people to see them in a specific light. And they were willing to literally sacrifice what it is they really wanted for the benefit of, you know, keeping up appearances, in so many words. So that's the same kind of vibe that I'm feeling. So looking at this Virgo full moon on the 9th, it's like Aries that resonate with this. It's like if you're seeing that in your life and you know, like regardless of the specific situations and circumstances, if you know in what areas of your life you are holding yourself to pretend that everything is okay when it's not, it's like this is literally like sucking your soul dry in the process. And there's a need to be aware of that and to take care of that, you know? And like I said, it's like in 2020, the thing that is different as opposed to previous years, and I talk about all of this in the Woke book, is that every year prior to this, it's more or less we had the opportunity to kind of walk blindly if you wanted to, you know? But it's like now in 2020, it's literally like everyone is being shown clearly, like, hey, this is what you're doing, right? You have free will, so you get to choose. If, you know, keeping up with appearances and the Joneses and the Williamses and whatever, if that's more important to you than your own happiness, then good for you. You know what I'm saying? Keep it up. But it's just the whole difference is now is needing to be aware of that. That's what I feel the biggest difference is between 2020 and every year prior. Is before it could be, you know, woe is me, why are things like this happening? But the thing that I've seen consistently in all of these readings is that it's being made very, very clear. This is where you are. This is what you're doing. Here is another path you can take, but it's totally up to you. And I've been saying that like in all the readings up to this point, like two paths lie before you, life and death. Choose life, but you have free will, so you can totally choose death. And it's like, as it stands, like how this looks to me, Aries, and this is just being 110% real, it's like this is a path of death. Like this is not giving you life. This is making you extremely miserable. But it's really coming down to who's more important, other people or yourself. Only you can answer that question, right? So you can go ahead and ask a yes or no question if you like. We have Pisces, we have Moon, we have No, we have Cancer and Family. So we have Pisces, Cancer, Family, Moon, and No. And we're gonna throw the dice that have no name. And then after that, I'm gonna pull the cards for you guys extended. But this is huge though, dude. Like this energy ain't nothing to play with. We have Taurus. I think that's Pluto in the number 2. Yes, that's Pluto. And Pluto is a spiritual ambassador planet. And all spiritual ambassador planets are about the golden aura, Christ consciousness, agape love, you know, all that good stuff. And it says you're being challenged to become more than human. It's a call for change and growth in your consciousness. Your motivations are shifting from personal to spiritual. The pilot of your soul's evolutionary drive and desire is attracting outer events and situations into your life that reflect the inner needs. These provide the stepping stones for your spiritual growth. That makes a lot of sense. And specifically for Pluto, it says commitment to the alchemical path of self-transformation, purging oneself of ego-based desires, unhealthy attachments, and awareness of one's motives that block this transformation. Well, let me tell you something. This is your roadblock in this reading. This is what's blocking your transformation. It's needing to project or be whoever it is that you feel that you need to be for whatever reason, and not wanting to let that go out of fear of whatever it is that it's based in, whatever core belief you have that's related to that. But it's more or less even more serious for Aries. It's like this is a catalytic situation where this is more or less evolve or null. Like, to be blatantly honest, you know, it's almost as if every time prior to this one, you've continuously chosen in opposition to your heart space and always chosen in alignment with your ego. And not saying that as a malicious kind of thing, but it's more or less, this could be something as simple as denying your calling or your purpose. You know what I mean? And acting in alignment with what, you know, your parents or society or whatever thinks that you're supposed to be or what you're supposed to do with your life, and forsaking what your heart is crying out for in so many words, you know? Man, that's heavy. And I mean, for some of you, it literally could be because you got burned before. Like, it could be being disappointed by something before and it's choosing to go a whole nother route that's in direct opposition to whatever it is that harmed you before. But the thing is you're not running from that person or that situation or that circumstance. It's like you're legit running away from yourself. And running away from yourself is what is causing things in your life to not blossom or grow, or why you always feel like you take, you know, one step forward and 2 steps backwards in so many words. Now with the number 2, your major arcana for the month, this has a lot to do with Pisces reading. That's so strange. Your major arcana for this month is the High Priestess, and it says diversity, bloom, fertility, self-reflection. What are you manifesting? That is of utmost importance. What are you manifesting? Are you aware of what it is that you're manifesting? Do you know what it is that you want, or what it is that you're working towards, and why? Or if you are maintaining this status quo, it's like, is it really worth it in the bigger scheme of things? It's like, these are all questions I feel Aries, like, it would behoove you to ask yourself questions such as this, because it's the energy that's similar to Pisces for me. Is it's a level of self-denial. It's like, this is something that you know, but it's something that you don't want to admit to yourself. But as long as you refuse to admit this to yourself, is as long as you're going to stay looking like everything's super dope, but being extremely miserable. And then this literally may have something to do with a Taurus person too, just because I'm seeing the Empress in the Taurus card. But let's go ahead and pull the cards for you guys. Extended reading. Let's see. Man, this is kind of catching me off guard. I didn't expect The first card out for you guys is the Four of Swords in the reverse. I didn't expect this to be like this. I really didn't. Then we have the Nine of Pentacles in the reverse. We have the Page of Swords in the reverse. Whoa. And then we have the Five of Wands in the reverse. And then your hidden enemy or problem, Holy Mother of Goodness. You're going to take all three of them, daddies. We have the Etsy Queen, the Urban Farmer, and the Soul Cyclist. Aries, what is happening in America? Aries, like y'all's cards have been coming out like crazy, and we're going to pull your Dark Mirror Oracle. Naked Before the Stars. So, Aries, I'm going over to Vimeo to do the So Below extended for you guys. If you're about that life, follow me over there. If not, I still love your freaking face, and I will see you guys sooner than later. Deuces.